All right, y'all, here's the pitch. A mashup film that combines Rocky, Gladiator, and the Chosen TV series. What have you got? Well, it's actually a movie called The Carpenter that's out in theaters right now. It opened on Friday, November 1st. And it sounds kind of intriguing. A little bit different, but sounds kind of intriguing. I have not seen it yet. This is one I think I'm going to have to check out, though. But it's kind of flew under the radar. I'd seen a trailer about this a few weeks back. I think it's been released for about a month or so, the trailer has. And I don't know, it kind of flew under my radar. Didn't really hear a lot about this until just recently. So let's check this out. There's an interesting article, give us a little background on this movie over on Movieweb. This is by Jonathan Fuge. And the headline reads, Bonkers new action flick combines Vikings, MMA, and Jesus. Interesting. King of the Ring meets the Prince of Peace. While that intro should sell you on the upcoming action faith drama The Carpenter, here's some additional details anyway. The action flick follows a Viking, an expert fighter, who becomes the apprentice to a mysterious carpenter. And that carpenter is none other than Jesus Christ himself. Sold now? Not only will The Carpenter feature fight sequences and religious philosophy, it will also boast a heavy metal soundtrack. If the idea of MMA, Vikings, Jesus, and heavy metal all mixed together doesn't appeal to you, then maybe you just don't know what's important in life. Hilarious. Interesting. Now, of course, as I mentioned, the word Vikings probably is going to be a red flag for some of you. Like, Vikings didn't exist at the time of Jesus, right? Well, I thought the same thing. Hop on over here to History channel website or history.com website, where that very question is asked. Who were the Vikings, huh? So quick little brief history lesson. I promise this is short. It says here, contrary to some popular conceptions of the Vikings, they were not a race linked by ties of common ancestry or patriotism and could not be defined by any particular sense of Vikingness. Most of the Vikings whose activities are best known come from the areas now known as Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, though there are mentions in historical records of Finnish, Estonian, and Sami Vikings as well. Their common ground and what made them different from the European peoples they confronted was that they came from a foreign land. There we go. They were not civilized in the local understanding of the word, and most importantly, they were not Christian. So that kind of says it right there. I suspect that's what this movie is going to do. He's a Viking in the sense that he's from a foreign land, and he's not Christian. He meets Jesus, and learns about faith and about Christ, and becomes more civilized and that sort of thing. So that's obviously the angle that they're taking with the word Viking as well. So kind of interesting. Further on here in the article, set to be released on Friday, November 1st, The Carpenter is directed by Garrett Batty from a story by Cameron Krebs, and Batty. The movie stars Cameron Krebs as the rage-filled Viking alongside Colin Krebs. Sounds like a family affair here. A lot of Krebs involved. Jeff Dickamore and Aurora Florence, as well as several professional fighters, including former heavyweight boxer Daz Crawford, former Extreme Fighting Championship competitors Brendan Groenwald and Gideon Drochky, and Taekwondo master Matt Isoff. Here's a little summary of it here. An adopted Viking orphan becomes a carpenter's apprentice to Jesus. The orphan Oren fights as a side hustle, his experience training as a carpenter with Jesus as his mentor changes his lifestyle. I mean, it's an intriguing concept. Curious to see how they pull it off. Here's a little bit of the trailer, which keep the sound down because I avoid some copyright issues here, but there's the fighter. I mean, again, I saw this trailer briefly, I don't know, like I said, a couple of weeks ago. So it has a little bit more of a modern feel to it, you can tell. Period piece, obviously, Jesus timeline, period costumes and stuff, but they look a little bit moved forward, a little bit more modern, right? The fighting style doesn't seem what we would think of as typical necessarily of that period. So, obviously trying to make a little bit more of a modern kind of piece. So, period piece, but with a little more modern influences on it, I guess. In a statement, co-writer and star Cameron Krebs has revealed that the idea for The Carpenter was born many years ago when he built a shed with his father. How rapping about carpentry and Jesus led to an action movie set in 29 AD Nazareth and featuring a soundtrack that includes Godsmack, Drowning Pool, and Motley Crue remains a mystery. Interesting. Director Garrett Batty, meanwhile, simply fell in love with the premise, and really, how can you blame him? So, interesting, huh? Again, something that kind of flew under the radar for me. I'm intrigued enough. I think I'll have to check it out in theaters. Sometimes stuff lands better in theaters anyway than if you wait till it comes home and see it there. It's just that small screen kind of condenses something. This feels like this something that probably is a little lower budget, so it might play better actually on a bigger screen, ironically, if you know what I mean, rather than waiting for the small screen that might kind of shrink the feel of it a little bit. The concept, I don't know, it's intriguing. I don't know. It sounds a little crazy, but it's intriguing. If we look over at the numbers here, of course, it just came out, but here's the domestic box office. Only lists as 43,417 so far. Again, this thing just came out, so we're looking at here. They've only got the November 1st numbers. It's in 500 theaters. $43,417. That's based on one day's gross. So I don't know. What do you all think? Just had to bring it to your attention. Curious comments about a movie like this. I mean, it's interesting. We're living in a time where faith-based films are really taking off in an interesting way. So I don't know. What do y'all think? Probably not many have seen it yet, but if you have seen it, please comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the film. Like I said, I'll probably make it a point to check this one out and do a little review. It's just bizarre enough and intriguing enough. I think it'd be worth checking out. So anyway, love to hear your comments. Let me know what you think. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day. God bless, and above all else, remember, stay in God's Word. See you next time, y'all. Bye-bye.